You are tuned in to that praisey station, praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Hello, everybody. It's that time of the week. I was about to say time of the year. Boy, it's almost June. I can't believe that it's almost June. I can't look like May just started. Actually, it feels like New Year's Eve was just about a month ago. This year has rolled by. So if you have goals that you have not met, you know, all those goals we create at the end of the year that we say in January, we're going to lose weight. Oh, Lord, why did I say that? That was a mistake. Because if y'all know who my guest is in the room tonight, that was a poor choice of a statement to talk about weight with Ray Kathy Land. Right before we came on, she mentioned the word vegan, and I almost passed out. She didn't know. They coming for me already, but I'm just saying, this night is going to be so exciting. I want to welcome everybody to the Momemtum Shift. I am here in the Valley of the Sun, even though my background doesn't look sunny right now. But this is what I love about Phoenix. Those Phoenix skies are beautiful. So whoever took this picture, God bless you. You did that. So, and no, I didn't steal it. I actually got a subscription. So I'm saying this to the people who work in this world, and you need backgrounds for certain things. Please get it legally. Let's do right. Let's do right. Give folks the credit where the credit is due. There are lots of opportunities. I've got this wonderful couple on here, but before I give the formal introduction, I want to welcome you to the Momemtum Shift. I want to welcome you to praise.fm radio. If you have never had the experience of watching any of the shows on this platform, I encourage you to do so. Dr. Lady Rain produces every show on this platform. This is a woman of multiple talents. And I keep telling y'all, one of these good old days, I'm going to have her, I don't know how we're going to do it, but she's going to be on this side of the camera. I don't know, God going to work it out. You know, and you know what's funny? Was that not last week, the week before that, we started this whole thing about work it out. And it just went on from there in the comments. And it's so funny because someone actually posted a reel of them doing Work It Out, that song, Work It Out. And I thought about you and I started to send it Dr. Rain, and I forgot. But they created that. She did, and Sonia did, all of them that was in there. There's so many people that got kids graduating from high school, from college, from the military, from 8th grade. I didn't even know there was such a thing as an 8th grade prom, but I found out this weekend in Texas that there's an 8th grade prom. I'm like, so we're doing prom in 8th grade now. They're graduating from preschool. They're graduating from kindergarten. They're graduating from the 8th grade. There's so many graduations and proms. I can't keep up. So by the time they graduate from college, they didn't graduate. There's about 4 or 5 different opportunities to graduate now. People are promoting. I think it's awesome. So the kids have something to look forward to rather than having to wait from kindergarten all the way to high school. Now they have the different steps, different goals to meet along the way. So I had the fortunate opportunity to be with our oldest grandson in Texas on Friday night, where he got to go to his 8th grade prom. We didn't know. So what an exciting opportunity to get to see him get all dressed up. And then we were in the car when we went. It was a 2-hour prom. The cars were lined up everywhere with all the parents coming to pick up their kids. We had to sit in line to pick him up. Awesome opportunity. So having said that, if you want to sit on this side of the camera, if I can do it, you definitely can do it. If you want to do your own show, reach out to us here at praise.fm radio. They are awesome shows. There is Praise in the AM, Dr. Lady Rain at 6 a.m. Y'all know I'm not up then. I'm awake. I'm just not up. So no, I'm not awake, but she has her guests. They've got different topics they do. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, Arizona, because I'm not going to assume that everyone listening is in Arizona, because there are people all over the world that watch. So I just want to welcome you guys to come on in. Under the Scope is back, y'all, with the multi-talented therapist on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Kim knows everything. She says she don't, but she does. Kim knows everything and everybody. So that's a show that's on. We've got the Rain and Stars show, where Dr. Lady Rain actually is on this side of the camera for that show. And that is on Fridays. The time, though, can you put the time in the comments? 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means it's 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Arizona, because even though we're on Mountain Standard Time, we do not acknowledge daylight savings. I couldn't remember what you call it. We don't acknowledge daylight savings time here in Phoenix. So in the summer, we're actually on Pacific time. So if you follow people in California, we're on the same time with the Californians. So that show is on. And I'm trying to think we waiting for the Ronnie and her food show to come back. Keep her in prayer. She's going through health challenges right now, but she's coming back, and when she comes back, it's going to be strong. Is Pastor Carmen's show back on? Not yet, but she'll be back. All the great shows that are on Praise.fm radio. If you know that you have that kind of sauce, bring your own sauce. I know people who bring their sauce in their purse. Bring your own sauce to Praise.fm radio. So having said that, I've got some super awesome sauce that's happening tonight. I have got the Lands on here. He got Reverend Ray Land, got his iron sharpened iron shirt on. And, yeah, he came prepared. And for those people who don't like to exercise and don't want to hear nothing about it, I bought Ray and Kathy on here just for you. So, I it's going to be an all powerful night. So welcome to the Momemtum Shift. Please welcome the guests. Share, because we want you all to be blessed. So come on in the room. Tell us a bit about you, Ray and Kathy. Y'all just run with it. Run with it right now. Come on in.
Well, my name is, like she said, my name is Ray Land. This is my beautiful wife, Kathy, and we just in love with Jesus and in love with doing kingdom business, as we call it. We both been through some stuff and came through that, and we want to pull people out the fire and be able to help them with their health, and most of all, to make it to heaven. Winning souls is our business, is our game. We call it kingdom business, but yeah, what you got?
Kim, they in these comments right now. They came for me. They coming for me in these comments. Kim says Kim says she don't know everything. Yes, she do. Kimberly Barnes knows everything. She is the multiplier of therapy. So if you want to know anything about that's going on in the therapeutic world, Kim's show on Saturdays is the place to go, because she has all kind of guests on with a wealth of knowledge. So Kathy, you tell us about you and what God is doing in your life.
Okay, yeah, my name is Kathy Land, and it's just an honor to be on the show tonight. We're really looking forward to seeing what God wants to say to all of us. We prayed right before we got on, and that we would just all flow in unity. Unity is not something I spent most of my life being a part of. I have, like Ray said, we've both been through some things, and I think we're going to touch on that a little bit tonight. But just from there to where we are today, what God has done in our lives, both individually and collectively, I think is so powerful how God can take two broken people and just make something beautiful out of it. I never imagined that I would be where I am today. Having a husband and a family that surrounds me, both my church family as well as my natural family. It's just an amazing opportunity, and I just I'm so grateful to God for what he's done in my life.
Awesome. So welcome to the show. I'm excited that everyone is in. I'm gonna shout out a couple people. Stacy Burton, hi. That's actually we have kids. We share grandkids because our son is married to her daughter and they've got kids. So we had an opportunity to spend time with her. She's hopping on from Houston, Texas. Good evening, Choice. Good evening, Kim. Hi, Jeanette. Those Dillards, thank you for tagging the Dillards. They, I think, are actually at the jail or the prison tonight. So hopefully they'll be able to hop on at some point. It's an honor. You guys keep sharing because we want to get the word out. I had wanted to have Ray on last week, but you know what? God knows. And I had to postpone it. And I'm glad I did because now I got the whole package.
That's right.
We did that. And I'm just excited because as God is transitioning me, it was really a blessing because you just never know. Now, we went to the same church. We would say hello and stuff like that. But you know when God is in something because he'll use something you have no idea about that will bring it back full circle, and he will use that to catapult you into something totally different. I remember when they started driving trucks, I remember them posting. Now, most of you all who know them know we know them more for their exercising. You know, they got that gym and they working folks out. We knew that they go out and speak. And, you know, we had an opportunity to have Kathy. I'm pretty sure Ray has ministered. In fact, I know Ray has ministered in the men's group that we had at our previous church. And Kathy has ministered to our women's ministry. But you never know what God wants to do in a relationship. And that may be the way it starts. But if we get stuck there, we may miss out on an opportunity that God wants to establish a fullness in a thing, right? So truck driving actually is the thing that reconnected us. And
Right.
Not that we had fallen apart, but you know, we weren't seeing each other and things of that nature because I'm busy doing what I'm doing, they're doing what they're doing. But God is reconnected for a far greater purpose than any of us probably would have ever imagined. Who knew that them going to truck driving school would start up a whole new thing?
That's right.
Something that has nothing to do with what we would have thought had nothing to do with us.
Right.
But through that experience, God has brought it back full circle. So with that, I'd like for you guys to share a bit before the break about how you guys even came together.
Right.
I know inquiring minds want to know.
That's right. Well, to be real with you, I was incarcerated, and I was close to going home, and I met this brother, and me and him was doing pull-ups one day and just really chopping it up, and he was telling me that his wife had a best friend that was a beautiful Hispanic woman, that her dad was a preacher, and she got in some trouble, but she was out and doing the right thing. And I'm like, hook a brother up. Hook a brother up. So the next week, one of my sisters or somebody came to visit me, and she was out there, and I went up to her and I'm like, man, hook me up with your. She looking at me crazy, like I'm not trying to do that. You know, I don't know nothing about you, but I'm like, I shouldn't even be here. And, you know, I'm a real dude and this and that. Anyway, she wasn't trying to have that. So anyway, long story short, about a year later, I got out and I was talking to her every day, like, man, when you gonna hook me up with your friend? And she was like, nah, it was pretty much, she was like checking me out to see if I was the real deal. But I guess she was telling Kathy about it the whole time.
She was, yeah. In fact, Kimberly's on tonight. She's
oh, yes, yeah. I see her. Welcome, Kimberly. I see her.
Yeah. So that's the way it was. And then on my birthday, like 2 weeks after I got out on my birthday, man, they happened to call me and I was like, man, I'm not even trying to holler at you now, but I was just playing.
Oh, you were over it then. You like, all right, it took her too long. Okay.
2 weeks, yeah, 2 weeks. So anyway, we talked for like 8 hours. Wow. 8 hours. I had a whole quiz paper. You know, I said, yeah, I heard your dad's a preacher and stuff, but just because he know him, that don't mean you know him. I need to find out if you know him, you know?
Right? Okay, he prayed for you, didn't he? He didn't even wait.
That's how he started. Yeah, that's how he started.
Real talk. So anyway,
Okay.
That's the way it was. So yeah, that's the way we met.
So she got out. So she had done whatever she had. Kathy, can you add a little bit of sauce to that so that the people don't have an understanding of what he's talking about?
Absolutely. So, like you mentioned, I also had been incarcerated. So upon my getting out, I actually, during all of those days of what I was doing, I had broken relationship with my girlfriend, and we had been friends since we were 11 years old. So one of the things I wanted to do upon being released was mending that relationship. So I remember reaching out to her and just, hey, and asking for forgiveness and just going down that path. And as we reconnected and talking, she did mention Ray. And I remember telling her, girl, I just got out of prison. What do I need a guy who's been in prison for? I need a step this and that direction. But it was funny because she just kept planting the little seeds, and she kept telling me, I think he's actually the real deal. Like, everything about him seems legit. And so I was like, okay. So a couple months later, I don't know. One day I just felt like, you know what? Let's give him a call. Let's just see what he's up to. And it happened his birthday. And I will say the whole questionnaire was a little much, but at the same time, I think that was the first person that I ever had do that. A lot of the things that Ray displayed showed some character, some integrity, and that spoke volumes, and I began to see right away that he really did have a relationship with God. It was evident.
So it wasn't the whole jailhouse religion thing.
No, it was he definitely had a relationship with God, and he wasn't afraid to talk about it. There was no shame in how he felt. He was truly, truly about living for Christ. And so that was intriguing to me.
Yeah. And so, and it's really nice. I'm glad you shared that because, and the reason why I said about jailhouse religion, because, and for those who may not know what that is, oftentimes when you have a captive audience, right? When people are incarcerated, some will go to church because they need to be out of their cell. It's not necessary. And I only know this because I worked in the prison system doing programming, and you'll have people get in touch with their spiritual side because they're a captive audience. They don't really have anything else going on. So it could be a life-changing experience or not. Because when you're incarcerated, or just like anything else, if you got a lot going on, sometimes that's that time when we're really talking to God, right? So it's not just people that are locked up, because you can be out physically free, but mentally in prison. And it happens. And I've working on the drug yard. I had many tell me that was probably the most freedom that they ever had in their lives. And the only time they were actually out of their cell is when they were working or they were programming. And that touched me to hear people say that. And I got to know people in a way that I didn't know exist. So a lot of what you see on TV, some of it may be true to a certain degree, but it's not quite the way people think. Some people just trying to get back to their family, back to their life. They're not necessarily trying to find ways to stay. Some may, but that's not the majority of it. And so with you sharing that, we're going to take a break right now. If Lady Rain is ready for that, we could do a quick break. And when we come back, I'd like for you, we talked about how you guys came together. I would like for you guys to share a little bit about your journey. Some aspects of your journey, good, bad, and ugly, and what you learned from that and how that got you to where you are today. So I'm going to ask you guys to stay tuned. Pastor Deborah Bell, all the way from the East Coast. We got an East Coast, a spiritual mom is on tonight from North Carolina. She says, what a birthday blessing. And so what I want you guys to do is to stick around, while we're on the break, and you guys come back, because I want you to hear this powerful testimony of what God has done in Ray and Kathy Land's life. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
Are you the next great independent artist? but you're looking for a distribution opportunity? Well, sign with us at Praise.fm Music Distribution. Yes, the 2021 Stellar Award-nominated Praise.fm can handle it all. We understand the narrow road leading to getting your music heard at the right time at the right place can be tough. So send your music and video files to fmpraise@gmail.com. That's fmprayz@gmail.com. Praise.fm Music Distribution, affiliated with Sony Music and the Orchard Distributors.
Jeanette said she's a meat
Hey, Praise family, meet Service Disabled Navy veteran Howard Martell. He's a Christian, family man, and business owner of Howard Superstore. Howard, tell us more about the store.
Some of our top sellers include Gen Mink. It's 100% pure mink oil and provides exactly what your skin needs. Gen Java Gourmet Arabica CBD coffee with an unbelievably good taste. Jenny's Roll-On Pain Relief. Gen Health, which supports a healthy immune system. Ultimate Keto, Ultimate Body Formula. Gen Pet Max, Total Pet Health for cats and dogs. And Gen Ties, Clean Hands. We're also super enthused to bring Gen Energy to the consumers. This is a power factor correction unit installed in your home or business, and it absolutely helps reduce high energy bills from power companies.
Learn more about these amazing products. Visit howardsuperstore.com. That's howardsuperstore.com.
There is an exciting new book out named Transition by author Crystal Sauls. This book talks about her changes from childhood to adulthood and other things that happened in her life. This book is also a testament that anyone can turn a negative life into a great life. Transition has recently become a bestseller on Amazon. You will find exciting and realistic reviews about this best-selling book. So, visit thetransitionbook.com and order your autographed copy of Transition today.
Shop Soulful Touch Roses for your personally designed rose at soulfulgifts.etsy.com.
Atlanta, we're back with the live television taping of AT&T's presentation of the 2022 Black Music Honors at the Comp Energy Center May 19th, hosted by LaToya Luckett and D. Ray Davis. The Black Music Honors, recognizing Drew Hill, Karen White, Carrie Hilson, Mary, Tevin Campbell, The Whispers, with special performances by Drew Hill, 112, Eric Bellinger, Kid and Play, Amber Riley, Carl Thomas, and many more. AT&T presents the Black Music Honors, May 19th at the Cobb Energy Center. Get your tickets now at blackmusichonors.com.
What's going on, gentlemen?
First Kingdom Records is going broke.
Redeeming Records reached out and...
You think I'd license my song to Caesar?
Mom, if we don't expand gospel, we'll end up irrelevant. I'm in charge of A&R. I scout talent.
You're in charge because I put you in charge.
Give it up for my wife, the queen of gospel music.
I've been asked to hold a memorial for the Williams girl.
The dead stripper?
Danny loved music. Can someone explain the purpose for the pain? Deliver us, oh Lord.
Don't cuss me down with the sin be. Trample my enemies.
This girl work here? I just want to talk.
So talk.
Can we stop, please? You have a God-given gift.
You looking at it.
You have over 2 million hits. She's everything Kingdom needs. She can reach people that you never could.
You set me up?
You and my mom got history, but she's a star, right? Or am I crazy?
Crazy like I was the first time I heard your mother sing.
You know who I am, and I can't change that.
I don't care where you come from, only where you're going. Your reign is over.
Is that a declaration of war?
Attention! Music Fest has opened its doors of opportunity for a short period of time to musical talents to perform. For more information about participating in the Music Fest shows, please contact Let's Connect at A2ZChristlife.com or www.praise.fm.
Unique Sounds Music Group presents a music fest on Carnival Freedom, January 26th through the 30th, 2023. Sailing from Orlando, Florida to Nassau and Princess Cay, Bahamas. Reserve your spot today with just $25 by contacting booking at uniquesounds.com. Welcome back to the Momemtum Shift. We're back. Come on back in the room, you guys. We got lots of sponsors. God is good. Look at what the Lord is doing. I was telling them during the break, I actually did watch the show with Yolanda Adams on it yesterday. So I think you guys be really surprised to see her in a whole different light and her acting ability. I would have never tagged her as an actress, but she's actually doing a great job. So it's something to watch. So check it out. But I'm sitting here chopping it up with Ray and Kathy Land. I am so excited. You just, like I said, you never know how God's going to do what he's going to do. He has utilized the trucking business to kind of reconnect us. So I'm excited about Ray's got a book in his hand. I was just asking because I'd forgotten that they had written a book. I did know that, but I forgot. And so when someone was talking about their book, I asked them about it. But before the break, we talked about how they got together. And now I want them to share. Fast forward, you guys got together and obviously you got married.
We did.
How long did that take?
8 months.
Okay, so y'all did it right. It took us, me and Anthony, it took us a few minutes. It took us a couple. It was 6 months altogether, but hey, we weren't in the same place. He was in a country and I was in another one, so we had to work that out. But we got married, and I think we got married in '89. So however many years that is in July, it'll be that long.
That's right.
Yeah. So how 8 months? Yep. How did that happen? What happened?
Well, Ray is very much, we couldn't be more different. I'm kind of the realist in the relationship, and he's a visionary. And so right away, he just hits the ground running, and he knows exactly what he wants, who he wants to be there. He just goes right into work mode. And I'm always trying to keep up. But we ended up getting married, and right away, Ray began to see opportunities for ministry. And he actually went to a men's retreat, which I believe, which I went right after him. It was one weekend he went, and then I went the other. But that kind of lit a spark under both of us about servants. Being a servant, having a servant's heart, and what that means. Pouring out into your community, stepping outside of the church walls. Reaching those that are very much like how we were. You know what I mean? And so that's what we've been called to, and we began to just do those type of things. We started having revivals and women's conferences and things of that nature, of course on a smaller scale, but really just, and we weren't even the ones that were speaking. We would get people to come and speak. We were just kind of promoting the event and pouring out into our community and things of that nature.
Because we were living up in Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if that's where you guys were then.
Right, and I grew up there. So I kind of felt like, because people knew I just came home from prison. So I said, man, I'll just bring pastors from LA and Tucson, you know, my spiritual father, Pastor Moss, and, you know, just great men of God that have been in my life for many years. I started bringing them, and we just started facilitating it. We just wanted to serve and just be about kingdom business. That's why I tell my young ministers now, I don't always have to be on the stage. You know what I'm saying? We've been in the background. We were emptying the trash at the church, doing the church signs. We was doing all that stuff in the back. And that you know, that helped us. So we know how to do ministry now because we started like sweeping the floors and stuff, you know.
So y'all weren't afraid of getting your hands dirty.
That's right.
Yeah, and serving. And I'm glad you said that because people don't know the story behind the story, right? You know, people will see where you are. They'll see you up on the platform, but they don't know what it took to get there. And it's not, you know, they don't know the tears that you cry, the tears you may have shed, the disappointments you may have felt, the times where lack was there, whether it was physical lack, emotional lack. There's so many things that go along with building a ministry, and oftentimes pastors or people in charge make it look easier than it really is. Yeah. And when people come, you know, that transparency, right? You guys kind of live a transparent life, which is great because oftentimes, you know, people who want that, they don't want the struggle that went along with it.
Right.
And some of that is because they don't know it exists.
Right.
You know, they just see the fact that your picture is on a flyer. They don't know what it took, all the times where you ministered to people where that wasn't on the flyer. The stuff that's not on the flyer is where the interesting part. So do you mind sharing how you guys overcame some of the disappointments you had to deal with? Maybe some of the places where you may have not quite measured up. How do you guys work through that? Because I know everything wasn't unicorns and rainbows all the time.
No, it wasn't. I remember like one of the first revivals we did when I got ordained, we did a 7-day revival. And 7 days, 6 days. We had a pastor every Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then two
old school revivals. I know them.
Yeah, 2 on Saturday, and we were like exhausted, tired. I mean, like we didn't want to do nothing.
We ain't doing that no more.
We never did that again. After that, we went down to 3 days, but it was just it was tough. But a lot of ministry was tough. We always say you got to pay to play. You know what I'm saying? And we at that time, we never had a lot of money. We would just go on faith and do it. Even when the pastors came, honorary. I don't know what no honorary is. You know what I'm saying? I just give you all the money we make. You know, we would go out on faith and make it happen. And God would always provide. And lives were changed, and people were changed, and we were changed. And most of the time, the people was pouring into us. But
yeah, I think a big part of it was I've always had really amazing mentors. To this day, that's a huge part. Some mentors have gone and some have come and some have stayed. And there's different degrees of mentorship. And we always stay connected to some type of mentorship, somebody who's able to pour into us. We have a huge variety, if you will, of amazing men and women of God who have really taken us under their wing and shown us and talked to us about how to do things. And all that while God is just maturing you. He's allowing you, to grow spiritually. We learned how to work together because it takes a degree of, I'm kind of back of the house, raised more front of the house, but he keeps pushing me out there in the front. And
yes, he does. I know that about him. He does.
He's really good at that. But we've just learned how to really work together and how to overcome little adversities, overcome little struggles, and we're each other's. I think we're the biggest cheerleaders. I mean, he cheerleads me. I do the same for him, and I think God knew exactly what He was doing when He put us together.
But
exactly what He was doing.
I think a lot of that starts with our prayer life. Even like today, this morning, I was getting ready to go out early. We sat on the balcony and did our meditations, and we just heard some birds singing out here, and we were just sitting out there just thinking about, look at these birds, man. And they were like really going at it. Then Kathy laced me up with, like, birds are just like we got fingerprints, and everybody's fingerprints is different. So every bird that sing has a different tone of voice, and it was like 20 birds, just like, and they were like, and Kathy said those birds, they're a mating call too. Some birds were like telling another bird, I'm ready to get with you, and it was just that going on. And then we heard a knucklehead down the thing from where we live.
Shut up,
birds! I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. And that was just, but it starts off with our prayer life.
Yeah.
Because we pray together every day. Even like if I leave early and, I'm in the truck, I do my 2 hours with God, my meditations and everything. And then she wakes up and calls me and we pray together. And I think that's the foundation of our relationship, and we go through stuff just like everybody else.
Of course.
So.
Well, and I'm going to say that prayer is not a one-way conversation. That's where a lot of times God begins to impart to us what He has next. I mean, just from us going from me working a 9 to 5 and then leaving my job by faith to do the training with Ray. So that was our first time working together. So we were working in our, as a living, but we were also doing ministry. So God was really teaching us how to work together. And then when we left that and went into truck driving, like when we first got a word from God to do truck driving,
I was like, wow.
I mean, there were very few people that we even told, because so many people would say, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And are you sure you had a God said? Are you sure that was God you're listening? Are you sure? And we just knew we had a God said, and we just followed. And when God gives you a God said, just launch out, step out. You don't have to know the whole blueprint. He's not going to give you the whole landscape. You just know that you have a God said, and He's going to make a way.
Because my dad.
Oh, go ahead. Your dad was a truck driver?
Yeah, well, he had some trucks, and a couple of my brothers drove, and he used to tell me, man, I ain't trying to do that. I don't want to drive no truck. Nah. But now I was telling Kathy, I should have did this 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, long time ago.
And I told him I would have married you earlier.
Well, see this, and it's funny you should, and this is funny. I know this is God ordained, because Anthony has always wanted to be a truck driver. When I met him, we literally went to basic training together. We didn't meet in basic training, but we met in tech school. Literally, because basic training was 6 weeks, we went to tech school. I met him the day I got to tech school. He had been there a week, and we met. And it was the instant thing. But the interesting part about it, he had always said that he was going to retire. He was going to stay in the Air Force. His plan was to retire. Then the next thing was, he said when he retired, he wanted to be a truck driver. He didn't do that because I didn't want him to do it. The timing wasn't good for me.
Right.
But it's funny that he retired in 2010, and it wasn't because of what was going on with our family dynamics at the time. That wouldn't have been the time to go into truck driving business at that time. Yeah. However, it's interesting how God will bring you back full circle, because my husband got his bachelor's degree. He has an MBA. So he has business degrees. He's project manager. He's done everything. And we finally got to the point where he just was like, I want to do this. And when God opened the door, he was able to do it for free. It all worked itself out. He was able to continue to work his job, do that. Then he was able to get a job. It was not easy. It wasn't like, okay, you graduate today and you're out the next day. But he had the favor of God on him to the fact that he was able to get a job that he wasn't even supposed to get. Right. So even with that, and we don't like everything that goes along with it right now. But what I'm finding that God is doing is this experience is causing him to work at the original plan. He had said a long time ago he wanted to have his own trucking business. And so now this is pushing us because we don't want to work for other people for the rest of our lives. We want to be able to do something that we can hand down generation to generation. And it's funny, you said your dad tried to give this to you 30 years ago and you weren't having it, only to go right back to doing it anyway. And it's funny how God works stuff out, because when he says to me, we're going to do it, we might do it the long way around, but we're going to do it.
That's right.
And so even with you guys getting married and doing ministry and you said you walked away from a 9-to-5 to get with the whole working out regimen. And I hear that Kathy is a beast.
Yeah, she is. She is.
She's the real beast in that.
Yeah. She's cardio Kathy. She so in Winslow, we had a gym in our backyard, and she would see me every day because I was a national champion bodybuilder back in the day. So I had been training for years. So I knew I was going to come out doing that because I know that's what I do. So and then she used to see me doing it, and she used to tell me, "I'm so jealous of you that you could just do that." And then I just like one day I'm like, "Quit your job and just do it too." And she did. I was like, "What?" She like quit her job, and I was like, "What the hell?"
I know you probably like, "No, I didn't mean that."
Yeah, I didn't really mean that, but she did, and then pretty much we left Winslow and came up here, and we just start buying more equipment, and then God told me to start training pastors for free, and she was like, because we only had a few clients, a lot of our friends just hired us. My friends from Winslow, they just hired me just to help us, to get us going. And then I was praying one morning, and God said, "Man, I got so many pastors that's out of shape. They don't take care of their body. They're giving, and they don't take care of it. Won't you train them for free?" I'm like, "Are you sure you're telling me to do that?" "Yeah, train them for 90 days and get them going." So we sent an email. We found some pastors, sent an email to 25 pastors. "We'll train you for 90 days for free. Come on, there's no catch, And that was one of the best things I ever done in my life.
Yes.
Because those guys, RB Barnwell, B. Wright, and a lot of them dudes, man, they started pouring into us, and we got to pour into them, and friendships, and I just love those guys now. And that was the best 90 days of my life, I believe. I mean, it was one of the best. Because we met Patrick and Nathan Hale from Prison Fellows. And man, we would have church in there, man. They would come all in a row, and other ones with Barnwell and Pastor B would stay there, and it was incredible. It almost makes me cry when I think about it because I miss it so much.
Yeah, I bet. But look at what God did, though. He took something because you were obedient and you followed His word, and what you thought you were going to be doing and the reason why turned out to be far greater than that.
That's right.
The impact that was being made was way beyond what you could have ever imagined.
Right.
And that experience, I'm sure, has a lot to do with what's going on in your life today.
Right.
How God is building and expanding. He expanded your vision. So how did we go from Land Attack to Land Attack Logistics?
Yeah.
I hope I said that correctly. So how did we get there?
The building that we were running, that Howard Bell had, and we took it over when he went off with Eddie James. We kind of took over the building. They were trying to sell the building for a while. Then all of a sudden one morning, I'm training some of the pastors. I look outside and 10 plumbing trucks come pulling in there. We bought the building. You bought the building? This building? Yeah, we bought it. Y'all got to get out of here pretty soon. It was like, we had to get out of there pretty quick. So then I called Kathy. I'm like, "Babe, they sold a building. We'll sell your equipment." "I ain't selling my stuff." I ain't selling my weights. I'm not doing that. But anyway, long story short, I ended up selling my equipment. And then I started training people all over town. But then people started asking us, "Man, you guys ever thought about truck driving?" Like about 5 people in 1 week.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, God just started speaking to us through people. It was just confirmation. I told her, "I think we need to go truck driving." "All right, do it."
So we call that program Arizona at Work. And
that's how my husband went.
Right. Yeah.
Got
So
the
we
grant.
got the grant and got to school, and went to school and she graduated before me because I couldn't pass some of the tests. Especially I couldn't back up worth crap.
Oh, it's something to that.
Yeah. I went to a men's retreat when I was going to school, and I had already like failed a few times. I took when we went in one of the prisons, a guy from the Hawaiian prison said, "Hey, Pastor Ray, I used to be a truck driver. Go to Walmart and buy a toy truck."
That's what my husband did.
Yes. So I went to Walmart. I went to the camp in Prescott, and every time I wasn't speaking, I'm in the room playing with the truck. You know, and God had told me that I was going to pass it. So after we came back from the retreat, Monday, I finally went and passed the test like that when I came back from the retreat. She was already training herself. She was already driving, man, 2 weeks before me, 2 or 3 weeks. But it
was very hard. Let me just say that
test is hard.
It pushed us totally out of our comfort zones.
Yeah.
It was extremely, stressful in some ways. You've been out of school for how long, and now you're trying to go back to school. And for me, it was kind of intimidating because even though I've always kind of been a tomboy, and my dad, is my heart. I love being around my dad and tools and working on stuff. So I've always been comfortable with that. But this is definitely a man's world. I mean, women are now getting more into it, but it was a little intimidating on that. You're the only girl in the class and, things of that nature. But when God gives you, like I said, God said, he just makes, just like how we got the grant and then going to school, and it's not going to be easy.
No.
There were definitely some obstacles in the way, but we just didn't stop. We just kept staying committed to what God had given us, even going over the road during the very onset of COVID.
I know.
The road out there when there was no toilet paper and everything shelves were bare. And I remember
only a woman would connect those two dots. When there's no toilet paper, when our focus is, we have different level of focus.
We do. But I remember one morning I was asking God, I said, Lord, how are we going to have the items that we need out here? Like everything's shutting down. It's crazy. And he said, if I can send the ravens, can I not take care of you? Like, I think it was Elijah, was it?
Yeah, I think.
Sent ravens to feed him.
Yeah. He was in hiding. He was on a sabbatical.
He was on a sabbatical, and
Let's put it that way. He was on a sabbatical.
That reminded me of that portion of scripture, how I'm going to take care of you. If I have you out here, your needs will be met. We were giving away things to other truck drivers at truck stops. We had no budget. We couldn't keep it in the truck. We had no more room. God just began to give and give and give. And that was just one of the testimonies of how God just took care of us out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we graduated. Like, I have a cousin out there right now. He's in training right now. And I said, man, you went in the perfect time. We graduated like in October or September, right when winter hit. So I was in Colorado in November, when it was snowing and everything. But my cousin, he's out there right now. And I said, this is the best time to be out there.
Yeah.
Because we were out there in the winter, man, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't want to see my husband going up I-17 in the wintertime, because, I really think they should prepare you more for mountains, because that's not and they don't. But people learn. You may learn the hard way, but you learn stuff. Yeah, you do. And that's a testament of what God does in his timing, because like you said, you guys obeyed and he gave you an abundance. Right. And every time you obey, he expands, right? From that story, that's what it seems like, because given the history, what man would say was that this wouldn't have worked out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But look at what God has done. And because of your obedience, even though it might have taken you a little bit longer, Kathy, but realistic than what Ray wanted, but realistically during that time, God was preparing you for that time. So it was the right time. Right. It might not have been Ray's time, but it was the right time. And look at how things have come together over the years. So with that, you guys are driving. Now you're doing land is attacking all around because you still working people out. I'm still seeing those videos. And how God connected two things that have nothing to do with each other, at least seemingly would have nothing to do with each other. But yet God is using it to prosper you and your family and your ministry. So you're still doing ministry.
Yeah, and we still doing training too. When we were over the road, we seen so many truckers that was out of shape. You know, they getting in that truck and you're just eating and then you're going in the truck stops. So we would get truck stops and take our boxing gloves and mitts and weights and work out. We'll be working out. I mean, I'd be at the airport. So even when we came local, I take my weights with me. I take dumbbells and stuff with me because I said, man, when I sit down, I'm not going to be a trucker statistic. That's one thing I'm not going to be. So I take my weights with me and, you know, I try to inspire people and do that. But yeah, that's what we do. We just brought it together too. And then even how we did that, we were on I-40, stopped in Winslow at my parents' house. And go ahead, tell that part, Kathy.
Yeah, so that's when I decided to get real with God. You know, my friend Howard Bell, he has a saying that says, you need to have a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, that's Howard Bell.
And I had a come to Jesus moment because we were headed back to Chicago. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to be out here. I don't want to be out here anymore. And, you know, I said, and I haven't even told you that, Lord. Like, I know he knows that I don't want to be there, but I have not verbally spoken that to him. And I said, this is not comfortable for me anymore. I really want to be at home. I want to be around my grandchildren, my children. I want to be around my church family. I said, Lord, I don't want to be out here anymore. And I kid you not, 10 minutes later, my phone rang. And it was a lady that we had interviewed with a few months prior to do over-the-road truck driving for her. And she said, hi, Kathy. My name's Ebony. I was just, God just put you on my heart. I'm getting a local contract. And I was wondering, would you be interested in working locally for me?
Wow.
I couldn't even believe it. I was like, Lord, are you serious right now? I said, consider it done. We went over the road. We finished our tour. We came back and we went to work locally. And I just love that because, you know, when you're real with God, he hears that conversation. When you're just vulnerable with him and tell him how you really feel, like he honored that. And I'm just so grateful because we've been local ever since.
And that was 2 years ago. That was early April, 2 years ago. And wow. I've been driving with that company until I got my own truck. She drove there for a couple months. And then our whole game plan was for her to go into dispatch. And so she went with another company and then they all got COVID. And they like, Kathy said, well, my strong suit is administration. And the lady said, well, pick up your computer. And she started dispatching. But I was like, that's perfect. You're going to learn this and we can get our own truck, you know? So it was like, God set it all up, man. So for 2 years, she did that with that company. So when we got our own truck, she know what to do. So we don't have to.
The ropes.
We cut out the middleman. We cut out all that other stuff. She do it. So like, she done already got me a couple trips in the morning. She like, okay, you started this time in the morning. I'm like, all right, boss lady. All right, boss lady. Sometimes I'm out there. She's like, you gotta make sure hey,
be the boss. Yeah, she's the professional. She making it do what it do, making that's sure right. that truck keep rolling.
Yeah, that's right.
She's making sure, and that's why I said you just never know why God is doing what He's doing, and His timing is perfect.
That's
because
right.
Even though it may seem like a delay, it's not really a denial. A lot of times He's just waiting on us to say yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say yes. And so with that, you have a book. And I want you to tell people real quick about the book because we want people to know you're out there and what you guys are doing. And in a couple months, I want to bring you back because I want to have you come on and talk about men. And I want you to come on and talk about women. And then we'll come back together and we'll talk about marriage.
That's
and
right.
How to connect, because the divine connection, and that's kind of we're setting we're setting the stage for where I want to go with this.
Okay.
Because seeing the way you guys, I wanted people to hear your story and how you got together, because that was a divine connection. and how God used that divine connection to create more divine connections.
That's
because
right.
We'll stop there. We'll see something and think, oh, this is it. And we don't think beyond that. And
That's
there's many people sitting here, whether they're listening live or they're going to watch the replay, that's going to want to know how God took you from where you were to where he's taking you now. Because you just said something I think is a mouthful. You take your stuff with you on the road.
Yeah.
The gym is still there. Even though I don't hear nothing about the gym, it's still there. And you're doing it somewhere else. So you didn't get stuck with the fact that they drove up with those plumbing trucks. You found a way to still do your purpose.
Yes.
And expand your vision.
That's right.
That expanding, God provided something you weren't even thinking about. He used something you said no to create a multitude of yeses.
Yes. That's
so
right.
Tell us about the book.
What happened is we always wanted, I always wanted to go back into prison and share with the guys. So we started doing that, and we have a mentor that grew up in my hometown. He's a big time doctor. His name is Dr. Ray Kirkland. And he was telling us, he said, man, you guys going in that prison, but you guys need to write a book. You got to write something and give them something tangible when you go in there that you can give them and that they can hold on to. And then that book will open doors for you and do different things for you. So we started praying about it, and God gave us 5 key principles to freedom from the inside out. It was kind of for prisoners, but it's not only for prisoners, but we done taught it at about 7 or 8 prisons. And it's 60 pages. We call it 60 pages of fire. Wow. And you know, it's a great book, we believe. And we got another one coming out real soon that is called God Birds from the Penitentiary. One of our friends, he's still in there. He wrote it, and Kathy's edited in it, or we're fixing it. It'll be ready pretty soon. And then I have one coming out sometime whenever I start writing it. It's called From the Pit to the Palace, but it's also a workout book, and it was going to be 66 books, and with training philosophies and, you know, all this stuff that I learned from being a national champion bodybuilder to write to
see what I live with, Dreal?
Yeah. Yeah, and to see Dr. Lady Rain been in the gym, her son here from Australia, and all of a sudden now she in the gym. I'm seeing him videos. She's trying to smile. It's like when I talk about divine connections, you know, and I'll share. There's a couple things. I believe we need to connect the dots, because she's sitting here saying yes, 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 and you just never know. Maybe the Lord wants you to launch out. Maybe it's time for you to do your own show. You have a lot to share, right? You got stuff that people may not hear. You may not be able to run into, like talking about, because they're not on your route. But you never know, because there's a whole nother world out there that God, because what you're talking about in these books, there's a prison warden on here, a retired warden sitting in the comments right now.
And tell them we want to come over there. We want to bring the book. He
in Georgia.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to connect y'all.
Right.
See, and that's what I'm saying. You never know, because he's written some books. One just came out on Amazon, so I'm gonna connect you guys. So we're gonna reach back and figure out how to get this going. But I'm telling you, I know God's about to do something beyond anything that any of us thought, and it all started because you said yes to something you said no to years ago.
That's right.
And
I want to
thank
you too, because when we were at that church, we was at Word of Abundant Church. When we were there, we used to see you and your husband always with the bishop, and I always really wanted to get to know you guys, man, because I knew how the bishop, because we really respect the bishop. I didn't really get to know him like a lot of people get to know him. I met him a few times, but I used to see how close you guys were with him. So I always really wanted to get to know you guys, because I knew if the bishop had love for you guys and the way you guys would take care of the bishop, that I knew you guys were some great people. So even a few weeks ago or a month ago, when you reached out to me about trucking, and me and your husband started talking, I was like, I always wanted to get to know these people, man.
Wow.
So that's an honor right there. So.
Well, thank you for that. Like I said, look at God. You never know who's paying attention, who's watching.
That's
you
right.
never know. And Kathy blessed me last week when God opened the door and I got an opportunity to minister to the women over at Pilgrim last week. She called and prayed with me before, and I appreciate that, because it doesn't, people make assumptions, right? And they think that you have it all together, or like we don't go through anything. And it was right when I need it. So he will put people in place that you don't even know or have no idea that that's why he's doing what he's doing. So I want to tell you guys, thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to more ministry opportunities, things that we can do together. So on that note, I have to say goodnight before my producer turned me off. But I'm telling you guys, this book, if you can put it in the comments real quick before we go off, so people know where to find you. And I'll also send it to me and I'll post it on my page, because these books, these principles will change your life. I already know they will. They're going to change your life. And so I want to hook you up with Dr. Lady Rain also, because I have a feeling that there's something that you guys can benefit, and the radio station will benefit, and our audience as well. So you never know what God is going to do.
That's right.
So we open to everything here at Praise.fm radio, because just never know where you might be and what God wants to do. But I will hook you guys up, definitely. And for everybody who's watched and supported us tonight, I appreciate you. Follow these shows, because God is doing something great. Artists, Singleton, I will make sure you get connected with Ray and Kathy Land. He's in the comments. He's the one that's the retired warden. I had him on a couple weeks ago. He's my son's godfather. I have him on the show all the time. He's writing a book of poems he was inspired from when he was a prison warden.
That's right.
You just never know what God's getting ready to do. All the way in the state of Georgia. You never know.
Man.
See, so God bless you guys, and I will get those connections. And on that note, I will see you guys next week. You
God
guys
bless. Thank you.
The land's up. If you need to work that body out, oh Lord, out to him. Jesus, help us, God. Help me, Jesus. Help me get it right as I'm going to eat a hot wing when we get off.
That's right.
But one day I'm gonna get free. I ain't
That's
gonna be vegan necessarily, but I'm gonna get free from all of this stuff I got going on. Good night.
You are tuned in to that praise station.
Thank you. God bless.
Where we get our
Good
praise
night.
on.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
7 days a week.